All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere and hopeful elect Akim, pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth. Coming back with another lesson. And with this lesson, I want to get into this documentary here. It's only close to 20 minutes. A brother had put it in the chat. But it's dealing with, as you read from the title, a history of conflict, Trump's impact on Native American communities. So, when you go into this documentary, they go into, the history that Donald Trump has with pretty much trying to get over and get an advantage and pretty much use the Native Americans. And they give a brief history on, Trump trying to do business with. Ultimately, what he tried to do was take down Native American casinos. That didn't work. And what he ended up doing was, and it goes into this in this documentary. He ended up doing business with the Palm Springs Native tribe out in California, in which, they renamed, he renamed their casino to Trump, to his name. Well, that lasted only a certain amount of time, and then, they pretty much, bought him out. I think they spent $6 million to get him out the, to get out of doing business with him, because he's not a just businessman. But the point of this, the video that I'm doing is, as you see, it says indigenous languages. All right, now Trump passed an executive order 14224 in March. I believe in March of 2025, which is the executive order that makes English the official language of the U.S. Now, prior to what a lot of people might believe, America had no official language. Okay, there was literally no official language for America, and I only know that because I believe I had in college I had a class or something where that was stated, and that actually kind of tripped me out. I was like, man, everybody here speaks English, but there's really no. That in itself lets you know that this is Babylon, confusion. It's a country where majority of the people speak English, but that's not even the official language. And then if you ask, okay, what is? And there is no official language. That's crazy, man. All right, but I mean there is now, pertaining to that executive order. But the point being, I'm gonna play a little bit of this. You have, the language that the Cree people. All right, this is a Cree tribe of they're Gadites. All right, so-called Native American Indians are Gadites according to the Bible. They're Israelites. In this little snippet I'm gonna play shows you the importance of language, man. All right, your native tongue is very, very important, in which what they were speaking prior to the colonizers coming and colonizing them, all right, and stripping that language from them. What they spoke was a broken form of Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash. Okay, so let's play this.
Dustin is the head of the tribe's Cree language program. He runs a non-profit that is trying to revive the language.
We haven't produced any fluent speakers in over 50 years, and we only have about 80 fluent Cree speakers left. None of our children speak our language. None of them. Since they couldn't eliminate us, they plan to assimilate, to put us into the...
Right, and part of that assimilation was when Esau um, had the native children stripped from their parents and taken to boarding schools. Okay, you had Esau take Native American children and away from their parents, and they were, you know, pretty much kidnapped and taken to boarding schools. All right. Let me see. Let's get this in the curses. This is Deuteronomy 28, and let me see. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. It says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand." Okay, so your children that came from your nutsack, okay, that came from your loins, will be taken from you and given to a whole nother people. All right, and at that, it's some heathen, the worst of the worst. Here it is. You know, could you imagine the 1800s? You know, you living. You know, you got your children, your wife. All right, and you know, there's wars between you and, you know, speaking from the point of a Gadite, you and in Edomites, and then they just roll up on you and take your children to a boarding school, and you never see them again. Or the next time you see them, they have completely assimilated to a so-called white person because of the indoctrination that they receive from those boarding schools, to where they don't even speak the language that they once spoke. You know, they got the saying, use it or lose it. Okay? So them not speaking or being forced to not speak their native tongue and being forced to speak English, okay, is very destructive to culture, to their culture. All right. So that's a curse. That's part of the curses, man. Okay, so let's go back to this where he says assimilate.
The mainstream society, and none of our children speak our language. None of them. Since they couldn't eliminate us, they plan to assimilate, to put us into the mainstream society. And one of the ways they did that was to eliminate our language, because our language is our identity. That's who we are. The language is the key to everything that we are.
Trump just declared English the only official language of the US.
All right. And once again, as you heard, you know, Trump declared English the only official language of the U.S. So it took 250 years, 49 years to declare English the official language of America. All right. So this is Genesis chapter 49, verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Okay. So Gad, the word Gad itself in the Hebrew, God, means troop. All right, warrior. They're warriors. They're a troop. All right. And they were given, you know, Esau hell. Okay, when Esau came here to the Americas, you know, they was giving Esau hell, man. But the saving grace for Esau was that Gatling gun. All right. And you know, on top of that, the disease warfare that Esau waged on Gad here in America. So Gad was overcome by a troop himself. Okay, the you know, the American military, General Custer, so on and so forth. But in the end, Gad is going to overcome, because Esau is not going to be able to do away or you know, have the remnant of the Gadites assimilate to his culture. All right, you're going to have 12,000 Gadites. All right, that's going to be of that 144,000. That's not going to bow the knee to Baal. That's not going to, be bugged out in you know, uh, pretty much just living life strung out on drugs on the reservation, so on and so forth. All right, and even beyond, learning their own, their form of Hebrew, whatever native language they spoke, they're going to go back to the 12,000 I'm talking about of the tribe of Gad. They're going to go back to speaking the Lashon Kodash. They're going to go back to praising Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, not praising eagle this and bear that and bison this, and they're going to go back to worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, not the creation. Okay, they're gonna wake up to who they truly are. All right, the core, the nucleus of their origin. All right, it goes beyond America. All right, you got Native Americans that can't tell you where they came from before so-called America. They're fixated in they have an attachment to this land, which is understandable, but this place is going to be completely destroyed. So what does that leave for them? All right, for the elect of the tribe of Gad, all right, Jerusalem, all right, is going to be their focal point. All right, so like the man mentioned, they couldn't destroy them. All right, the natives, Esau couldn't destroy Gad completely. So his next best thing was to have them assimilate. All right. Now, once again, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Okay. So Esau is not going to be victorious over the tribe of Gad, despite, Gad being in the conditions that they're in. Now, this is a screenshot of Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, and this is the prologue. And I want to jump down to let me see. All right, I'm going to jump down to the middle of the prologue. It says, "Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret." Okay, because interpreting, a language is laborious. Okay, it's intricate. Okay, for the same things uttered in Hebrew, that's the point. Our native tongue is Hebrew. All right, the Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, the tribes in the Caribbean, all right, so-called Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Jamaicans, Haitians, all right, so-called Negro, so-called Latinos of the Americas, North, Central, and South. Our native tongue is Hebrew. So when we actually utter and speak in the Hebrew, it's more powerful. There's power that comes with that. After all, our power, his name, or those names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, are actually in the Hebrew. And you actually had Gadite tribes that actually knew the name of the Heavenly Father and would actually call upon that name. Now, with Esau knowing that, it's only logical that him being the devil and wanting to take away that power, we're gonna make it to where you can't even speak in that language no more. If we hear you speaking in that language, we're gonna kill you. All right, so that's what a lot of those Gadite tribes had to deal with And Esau deliberately doing that because he knew that we are those people, that we are the people of the book, that we are the Hebrew Israelites. All right. And he knew that, you know, the tribes here in the Americas spoke forms of Hebrew. Okay. It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. Okay. So if you translate, you know, something in Hebrew into another tongue, it doesn't have the same force within itself. Just like the name Yahweh Shai. Okay. The average person in Babylon calls on, you know, the Lord, the anointed Mashiach, all right, in the Hebrew, Mashiach, which means anointed. They say Christ. Okay. Now the Lord's name being Yahweh Shai, these dumb so-called Christians say Jesus, in which Jesus it means earth dirt or earth pig. All right, there's no power in that. But there is power in he, deliverer. Yahweh Shai, Yah being he, Yahweh Shai being deliverer. There's power in that because literally that's what his nomen omen, all right, his name sign or name prediction, what Yahweh Shai was prophesied to do is save his people from their sins, according to Matthew 1:21. And literally that's what he's going to do. So if you're calling upon that name, that's something that's in your mind. In your mind, you're always there's a attachment to being salvation, that desire of being delivered, being that you're calling on the one who was prophesied to deliver. All right, calling upon the name of Yahweh Shai is a constant remembrance of salvation is coming. All right, you calling on Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You ain't no expectation with that. Okay, but that's the mental mind F, all right, that Esau has played on our people. Okay, so it says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. All right, there's no power in English. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. All right, so there's actual power when you speak in your own language. All right, and that's something that pisses Esau off. Esau gets pissed off when you speak and he don't know what the hell you're saying. Okay, when you are talking and Esau can't understand what you're saying, they get extremely upset. All right, because they are the wicked police of the earth. You know, but yeah, man, I just wanted to bring that out. You know, Esau has done a number on our people. Okay. In a large or a major way that he's done a number on our people is by forcing us to not speak in our native language. You know, being Lashwan Kodash, in which once again the natives here in the Americas, all right, in the Caribbean, so on and so forth, South America, Central America, we're speaking broken dialects of Hebrew, broken forms of Hebrew. All right. So Esau, first thing he did was put an end to that. All right, because he don't want us calling upon the name of the Lord, man. You know. Let me grab this real quick. Let's see. What's that in Acts? I think it's the 4th or 5th chapter. Going into there being no other name. Yeah, Acts 4 and 11. Okay, let me see. Verse 10. Starting at verse 10, Acts 4 and 10, it says, Be it known unto you all and to all the people of Israel that by the name of Yahushua Mashiach of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom the Most High raised from the dead, even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. Okay, because there was a miracle performed, and it was through the name of Yahushua that that man was made whole. Okay, it wasn't through Jesus. All right, the J wasn't even invented at this time. It says, This is a stone which was set at naught of you builders, which is become head of the corner. All right, because you had the wicked scribes and Pharisees and those of the circumcision that denied Yahushua, rejected him. All right, but he was the chief cornerstone. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Okay, so there's you can't call on any other name and expect to receive salvation. And the one name, or the names that can actually grant salvation, Yahweh, Yahushua, have to be uttered in the Hebrew. Hebrew is the only language in which the creator of heaven and earth, all right, the Heavenly Father and His Son, names can be actually uttered. You can't utter them in any other language. It's got to be the Hebrew, all right? So driving that point in on language being very, very important for us as Israelites to receive salvation, all right? And that's what Esau did with Gad, all the tribes actually, taking away our native tongue. So, just something quick to the point. This was edifying. So next time I say Shalom.